Good morning. I'm live in Costa Mesa, California, and this is your Namaste today. Good morning and namaste, and welcome to Namaste Today in the Zodiac weather. My name is Stepº5 Witecki. I call myself the sensei to Sirius joy. My job is to stand in my heart and walk in the light. Now, I gotta tell you, it's a pleasure to light walk with you. I'm love casting live in 5 dimensions today from the beautiful Temple of Gaia in Costa Mesa, California on Tuesday, May 26th, 2015. And we have just returned from a 3-day holiday here in the United States. And it's so fitting that as we get back to business, Step 5 rules the day. Now, Step 5 is the natural-born step of Gemini. So we are 6 steps into Gemini. It's kind of like a century thing. Because of Step 0, it's always one more than you think. So we're 6 steps into the transit in which Step 5 rules the day. And when Step 5 rules the day, our intellect is online. Now, if you've been watching, you know that Mercury is retrograde. That is where Mercury is moving backwards in the sky, or apparently moves backwards in the sky. But what it means energetically on Earth is that we switch the polarities of our thinking. So as we are in the I think state of awareness of Gemini, and as we are in the I think day of the I think awareness of Gemini, we are thinking retrograde, which means we are looking over our shoulder. We are looking at our looking. All right? So today should be an interesting day. In fact, today I say, I think what I think. Literally today is looking at our own thinking, and I believe we will find focus, we will find ground zero, if you will, we will find understanding. And that might be after a few days of feeling like you've been floating in space since Mercury went retrograde and the Sun went into Gemini. It's been very cloudy, I have to admit. Even I've been like standing around going, what am I supposed to do right now? And getting to work. But before we dive into the cosmic clock and all the planets that are clicking around, let's first tame our brain, shall we, with the phrase of today. Today, what I think, I therefore am, and so it is. Now, you've heard Descartes, I think, therefore I am. But I think it's important to know that because manifestation is very powerful today, there's a lot of manifestation going on, which I'll show you in the cosmic clock. But because of that, what I think, I therefore am. All right? So today, what you think, what you allow yourself to think, you will quickly become by the nature of the cosmic. And that might be because you're at the conclusion, you're ready to come to a conclusion, so it's not going to be some big deal that surprises you. But you ought to know that what you think is what you become, at least today. And that might be you trying on something like, you know what I think? I think I'm going to just do this. And you try that on and you become that for a day, and that's quite all right. That's what Mercury retrogrades are about. They're about going back, relooking at it, seeing if we were crazy or not. So you officially don't have to sign any contracts. You officially don't have to do anything. However, I would say, that because we're in a retrograde, because we're in a Step 5 day, in a Step 5 sign, we are purified. What you think, what I think, I therefore am today. And that's how it will work. So say it one more time to keep it in the mind. What I think, I therefore am. And so it is, because I said so, I thought so. Now, the ruling step of the day is Step 5, and we're in the first 11 steps, so I want to go into a little more detail, like I promised you, about how these states of awareness works. Now, the way it works has to do with sacred geometry. What I have done is observed and discovered that sacred geometry, numerology, and astrology actually all work together as pieces like a Rosetta Stone to a bigger knowledge. So it's like you need all 3 to see some of these things, and this is one of them. One of them is the proper steps in which things unfold. Well, sacred geometry tells us that consciousness unfolds in a certain way, and it's based on mathematics, all right? And in the fifth element, and 5 is universal, go anywhere in the universe, 5 means 5, all right? 5 is also I think. So in the 5th step, in the 5th rollout of consciousness, as we unfold, and what I call the 11 steps of Sirius joy, which is aligning you with the way consciousness unfolds naturally. That's the premise of the 11 steps. Step 5 is I think. So we don't really have to think about anything until Step 5, which is where a lot of my clients stumble, frankly. That smartass of yours wants to figure it all out. And guess what? It is in Step 5. Now, part of the reason why I think is in Step 5 is because it's in the middle. And I think the mind wants to be in the center, and it wants to control everything from the center. But you see, if we do not protect and love and feel it, which are the first 3 steps, and we didn't go over these because of the weekend, but the next one is believe it and allow where it belongs, we have to allow those steps to come into play before we think anything about it. Now, I would argue that most people do this subconsciously. As I observe in clients and whatnot, when they are good at making things happen, they don't label it right away. That's something you notice. You notice people who are very creative don't label it right away. I don't want to give it a label. Well, they somehow intuitively know not to get to step 5 right now and close off what it could be with the mind and wait until we get there. But today, step 5 rules today. Today's the day when the mind does come alive and the mind puts it all together. The mind says, oh, okay, I've got all these parts, right? And what are the parts that you have in step 5? You have I protect, I love, I feel, I believe, and I belong. So step 5 sees over all the states of awareness, 5 of them. Isn't that interesting? And the mind does see over that. The mind always sees 2 parallels of 2 and 1 possibility. That's how I think of it. So today was step 5 ruling the day. I think our minds come together. And no matter where you are, whether Mercury is retrograde or Mercury is direct, it doesn't matter if Mercury's in Gemini or Mercury's in Cancer, when Mercury hits step 5, we finally get it. When the Sun hits step 5, we finally get it. And I have finally learned, as a sensei to Sirius joy, not to sweat it till at least step 5 or beyond. In fact, I don't even start to worry until step 5 in the transit. And I don't really let it get to me, because I know that thinking is only 1/12 of the total equation. So today, I think rules the day. So let's look at the chakras and the spiritual energy that spin around with I think.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
So looking at the colors in the chakras, we are in the yellow, mellow yellow, which is I think. Yellow is the I think, and this is the 3rd chakra. Now, a lot goes on in the 3rd chakra, and since today step 5 rules the day, we're in yellow, yellow. It's kind of a double dose of yellow. So you get 2 doses of pure thought energy, or you could look at it as we get purebred thought energy. There are no other states of awareness interfering with the I think stream. That's another way to kind of look at how these consciousnesses kind of layer together. But one thing I want to point out today, just as a funny, is, I want us all to become aware of how our energies interact. And one of the most obvious ones is when you get butterflies in your stomach. Now, there's lots of ways to get butterflies in your stomach. Sometimes when you see someone across the way, you're like, oh, you get those butterflies. But a lot of times, when you hear something, you get butterflies in your stomach. Now, why is that? I believe it's because your I think state of awareness, which is in the 3rd chakra, lights up. And right next to that is I feel, step 2 actually. And so suddenly you get this butterfly thing because your mind and your emotional field have some sort of match, like memory, like, oh, we got a match here, right? Now, the match to the emotion is the butterfly because your mind, I believe, is suddenly in touch with all of your feelings about this topic now that it's brought it up. And it may be subconscious to the I think state of awareness because the mind only pays attention to where you point it at. So if there's a lot of information there that you haven't pointed it to, you can get these butterfly effect. And that's basically what I'm told. I'm like, if I get butterflies, no matter where I'm at, and it can be in a business meeting, it can be anywhere I get butterflies, I basically say to the person, I'm going to have to get back to you. Because I got to meditate on what that butterfly was. We got some karma or something, and we were married. I don't know, but I'll call you. I'll call you. So yellow is where it's at. Now, if you get a lot of butterflies, breath work, my friend, breath work, every time you take a breath and you exhale, you're making love to reality, okay? So when you bring in breath through the crown and out through the front and release the anxiety, you'll be able to see what's causing the butterflies, what's causing the anxiety. And today, on a double 5 kind of day, anxiety is possible. So let's take a look at the cosmic clock, and you'll see another reason why anxiety might be possible today. And here we are at the cosmic clock. Well, the sun has progressed to step 5 Gemini. Step 5 Gemini is the natural born step of Gemini. We're 6 steps into the Gemini I think state of awareness. And today our mind is the ruling state. So the ruling state means it gets the most attention inside of us. And if you've been ignoring something in your mind, especially in a Mercury retrograde, you can expect it will suddenly come into your attention. Now, speaking of Mercury is at step 10 Gemini, and that is I manifest. So Mercury is at I manifest, and it is dead conjuncting Mars. I mentioned there might be some anxiety today. That's because Mars, our male energy, has now reached our mind. And so this is kind of like our intellect getting a jolt of caffeine. That's the best way. In some ways, you're going to get a lot sharper. And I think that's kind of what the universe is doing is like, whoosh, wake up. You know what I mean? Like, huh, you know, and we kind of have to wake up. Now, this is after a 3-day weekend. That's why it's ironic in the United States that it happens. But today it is kind of like a jolt of caffeine. It does kind of make you wake up. Now, it does make your mind impatient. It makes the mind hyperactive. If the mind doesn't have direction or doesn't have a question at least, something to search, that Mercury intellect can push things over the edge. If someone was already on the edge, Mars conjunct Mercury can push one over the edge. So if you watch over people that are kind of intellectually on the edge, not in a fun way, I mean in a dangerous way, you might actually keep them in your consciousness today. You know, since you obviously watch over people, if you watch this show, you obviously do, I do, we all do. So today is a day where we're kind of watching over. Now, in your mind, it means it's time to move forward with new thinking and take that masculine energy and go ahead and push forward. So Mars and Mercury working together at step 10. This is where I get today's statement, which is, you know, what you think, you therefore become, because both are at step 10. So we are manifesting. Our thoughts become reality today. And really, this reality is a new step in thinking. Who knows if it will be the right step? Who knows if it's where we need to go? Now, the moon is in Virgo today, and that makes things feel very real. Even things we think will feel very real. It's also important to know that the moon will be opposing Neptune Chiron. In fact, the moon is kind of between the two planets today, which is a no man's kind of zone between the two. And what that means is that we are balancing really in a fault line between faith and reality. And we're trying to heal our faith with Chiron and Neptune over in Pisces. But today our emotions are stuck in reality. So today you will have to use faith to come out of certain things. And that's good because it's the mind, step 5, that directs the soul towards that faith. So today, direct your mind towards the faith. Now, Venus is in Cancer. This makes us a bit more tender than usual. Venus is where we receive, where we open, where we drink, so to speak, and Venus is in Cancer, so it's an emotion. So we are drinking our emotions. They are very deep right now. We are feeling the depths of our soul. And today Venus is at step 20. Step 20 is passion. Okay, so we feel passion. And because of that 0 there behind the 2, we are vulnerable there, and we may feel some vulnerability. Now, on top of that, Venus is officially squaring Uranus, which means that we might have a tug-of-war in us or some fears in us about going ahead and becoming this new character, which is Uranus and Aries, like I'm this new character and I'm going to do it. And then as we start to feel it with Venus and Cancer, we're like, oh, I don't know. You know, like, oh, well, you know, so I think we might be caught in that. And again, that's where the mind has to charge forward. That's where the Mars, Mercury, I think, is for. Is like, okay, charge forward. Come on, let's just keep moving. Nothing here to look at, right? Now, Jupiter is bringing joy. Thank God for that. Jupiter is direct. Jupiter is direct in Leo, which means the universe has our heart's interest, and Jupiter's at step 15. Notice the 5 in the 15. Now, that's very important, right? Because that 5 is what the mind says. So our heart is under the mind's guide right now because step 15 rules Jupiter, and Jupiter has got the heart right there by the chakra. So today, your mind can point or not point in the heart's direction. You can point away from the heart, which would be pointing the mind towards fear, and you'll learn from doing that. Or you can point the mind towards heart, towards love, and you can learn from doing that. Either way, you're going to learn, says the universe, right? Now, it's important to note that Jupiter at step 15 is trining Uranus, which means the part of you that's trying to be this new person and the part of your heart that wants new things are actually working together. They're on the same team. What does that mean, Christopher? To me, it means that the Venus in Cancer, where we're feeling everything, that's the part that's just going to have to get over it. We're going to have to nurture ourselves. We're going to have to be there for ourselves. And we're going to have to baby ourselves through these feelings and protect ourselves. Because clearly, our hearts want to go one way, and our new identity wants to go another way. They're both the same way. And we're going to have to make it. We're going to have to pamper ourselves, right? So that's what you say to yourself in the mind anyways. That's what I say. Now, looking at the Tower of Truth, Gemini, the sun is at step 5 today. And like I said, Mars and Mercury are at step 10. I manifest. So the step differential to this is 5. Isn't that cool? So we're literally a thought It is a thought that unites all this together. That's how you think of it. And the sun is our heart. So our heart is at step 5. Our heart is with our mind and our ego is with manifestation. And what gets them on the same plane? A thought does, keeping your thought focused, right? So let's think about that. What thought should we focus and how should we focus it? That's what we'll focus on in today's Joy Quest. Your joy quest, should you choose to accept it, is think happy thoughts. And you're like, oh, come on, Christopher, brilliant, original. No, seriously, think happy thoughts. That's what it does. When you deliberately think happy thoughts, you will become happy. And the thing is the smartass doesn't want to agree with that. Part of your mind will usually argue, like, no, this is stupid, this is fake, this doesn't really count anyways, which are not happy thoughts, by the way. But when you deliberately think happy thoughts, you will bring yourself into that utopia. Now, I don't think people should think happy thoughts when they see a crime in progress, like happy thoughts, and just try to forget it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying you try to ignore something painful or bad in reality, because I think that's just ludicrous. However, when you are stuck in an intellectual rut, you want to deliberately think happy thoughts. When your mind slips into the gutter, you do want to think happy thoughts. And if you don't have a happy thought you can bring up, you should think of a happy thought that you have in your back pocket and think about it. You know, things that make you happy. If you're wondering what a happy thought is, which I think I should probably tell you, it's a thought that makes you happy. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I was thinking about that. Did it make you happy? Oh, it's a happy thought then, right? And I have lots of happy thoughts, especially about people I love mostly. I think about moments with them, and it makes me really happy inside. So today, I can't stress it enough, because what you think is what you are. Think happy thoughts today, my friend. Now, if you're watched over in my personal Sensei network, I'm going to be helping you think happy thoughts. At 11:11 a.m., I'm going to actually expose and show you where you may feel Venus vulnerable. So I'll give you some positive thinking to feel good about your vulnerability, not bad about it. And I'm not going to have you covered up. Like I said, I'm going to give you the right thought. That's at 11:11 a.m. At 3:03 p.m., I'm going to dive in with that whole fault line between faith versus reality and help you understand where you may feel pulled today between faith versus reality. So if you do think happy thoughts, you won't think you're crazy. You know that's going on, not a big deal. That's at 3:03 p.m. Now, if you'd like to be watched over by my personal Sensei network, it's just $19.95. Come on down to SiriusJoy.me. I have a little video that outlines, what you can expect during the day, and it gives you an idea of what the text flow is like. It's all based on your personal date of birth, and I write every text message every night. That's at SiriusJoy.me. So moving on to today's telepathy, we're on to Geminis, and I thought I would do some nice extra sprucing things up. That was what I was trying to think of in the Mercury retrograde just now, sprucing things up, and bring you some funny Gemini ladies. So these are female funny ladies that were Geminis, and Geminis are known to have a quick tongue and be quite funny when they let themselves go. Which one of these funny female Geminis am I thinking about? Is it number 1, Joan Rivers, who is best known for Live on the Red Carpet, may she reincarnate in peace. Number 2, Brooke Shields from Suddenly Susan, that's where she was funny. Or number 3, Sandra Bernhard, who is from The King of Comedy. That's probably the best one. Or Truth or Dare with Madonna, if you know that. So am I thinking of Joan Rivers, Brooke Shields, or Sandra Bernhard? I'll have the answer to which of those I'm thinking right after this. Can't find love? That day is over. With just 8 numbers, we can reveal all your secrets to sex and love. We call it Secrets of Birthdays, the Love and Lust Report. Find out the secret to your heart at secretsofbirthdays.com. And welcome back to Namaste Today. So for the answer to today's telepathy, I'm thinking of female funny ladies who are Geminis. Which one of these funny ladies was I thinking about? Was it number 1, Joan Rivers, number 2, Brooke Shields, or number 3, Sandra Bernhard? And the answer is Brooke Shields. You should know by now I pick with my heart, even though I love all 3 of these ladies. Even Sandra, she has a, kind of a trashy mouth. So did Joan Rivers. Geminis take full advantage of that. And I got to say, I always appreciate that. I appreciate that they're so frank and fresh and don't try to cover it up. So, women to those 2 women. But Brooke Shields is really cool because she has so much dynamic. I've always been curious about her, and I've also loved how she's been non-judgmental, like with Michael Jackson and the way she supported things and how she's been honest about her own issues. So I've always had a lot of respect for her, so I was curious, and that's why my heart went to her. So Brooke Shields was born May 31st, 1965. She's a step 9 Gemini. No wonder I like her. I basically am a step 18 that adds to a 9. So basically step 9s are fast thinking, fast talking, and they usually communicate for a reason. There's a purpose behind the message to get something done, to get something out, to get something moving. So a woman to Brooke Shields as well. So moving on to today's rock and roll gospel, we are looking at Geminis this week. I'm going to focus on Gemini musicians and how Gemini musicians are really just poets and they know it. And today I'm going to start off with a master Gemini musician. In fact, this was a master manifester of music. He is a step 28 Gemini. I'm speaking of Lionel Richie. That's right. Lionel, right? And all of his songs and all of their lyrics, they all are so clear in the mind and so clear in the heart. And since Mercury is retrograde, I thought it would be apropos to play Dancing on the Ceiling. Because that's what it's like when Mercury's retrograde. We're just dancing on the ceiling, right? Having a good time. Now, the interesting thing about Dancing on a Ceiling is Dancing on a Ceiling was a hit the last time Saturn was in Sagittarius. So the last time we were looking at our beliefs and looking to believe something different, that was when his song was a hit. And that was his third album, by the way. So interesting with the timing. So when you go Dancing on the Ceiling, think about what you were dancing on last time Dancing on the Ceiling was a hit. But before you go dancing on the ceiling, let's take a look at the moods of each of your brothers and sisters today and a special soul vitamin. Today with your soul vitamin, I'm going to help you with that faith versus reality line. So for each of the 12 zodiac signs, where must you keep the faith and where must you face reality? In the 11 steps to Sirius joy, starting with the secret step, Scorpios, step 0. Sunny and social today for the Scorpions. It's time to have faith that your heart will get what it wants, but it's time to face reality with where you are in society right now. Step 1, the Leos, sunny and manifesting today. It's time to have faith in the things that you trust, but it's time to face reality when it comes to money and finances. Step 2, the Cancers, sunny and pensive today. Time to have faith in your beliefs, Crab, but it's time to face the reality of your thinking. Is it adding up to faith or not? Step 3, the Sagittariuses, sunny and professional today. It's time to have faith in your feelings, but get real critical with where your career is. Step 4, the Aquarians, sunny, private, withdrawn today. Time to have money faith in your life, but it's time to be real about whether or not you're flexible with your boundaries. Step 5, the Geminis, sunny, nesting, and resting today. Time to have faith in your career, but face the reality of details at home or your feelings. Step 6, the Librans, sunny and hypersensitive today. It's time to have faith in your lifestyle and in your daily health, but it's time to face the reality of your spirituality. Are you plugged in or not? Step 7, the Pisces, sunny and sentimental today. Time to have faith in your behavior, but face the reality of your relationships. Step 8, the Capricorns, cloudy and rather pensive today. Time to have faith in your own thinking, but face the reality of your experience or expectations. Step 9, the Aries, cloudy and spiritual today. It's time to have absolute faith in yourself, and it's time to face the realities of reality. Step 10, the Tauruses, sunny and childlike today. Time to have faith in your social progress, but face the realities of your heart and love. Oh, that's true. Step 11's sunny and cool for the Virgos with the moon in their sign, but it's time to have faith. Time to have faith in your relationships, but face the reality of your behaviors. All right, moving on to Lightwalker Parade. First of all, if you're watching on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe. I thank you ahead of time. And if you're on Facebook, you can be our friend by navigating to soulgarden.me. And if you'd like to book a reading or take advantage of any of my great little products to help you along the way, come on down to soulmart.me. In particular, my 20-minute gut check reading is just $39.95. It's MP3 recorded, and it's a great way to kind of get in front of me and to ask a question. So come on down and check it out. And don't forget my personal sensei service. Now, today was sponsored by Mindfulness and the letter E, just so you know. And I'd like to always thank you so much. So many people actually have spread the word of Namaste. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I can't thank you enough for that. I will see you in 24 hours. Remember, my friend, think happy thoughts, and remember I love you, and live, love, be.
This is just so ironic.